Look at him. He's just dickered. Just dickered, boys. Son of a bitch.
Yo, yo. Class A and macro. Not connected, not elected to participate. Bouncing down the stems will make your head hurt. Enjoy the takes.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Take or Wide. This is episode 281. How are you guys doing? How was your week? How was your weekend? You can't answer me because I'm not calling you, but hopefully it was great. Summer's speeding up and almost fucking done. It's already August, man. It's crazy. 2019 just arrived, man. I feel like I was just celebrating New Year's. Hopefully you guys have been good and checking out some good tunes and just being good, eating healthy, sleeping great, feeling good. Hopefully. I really do hope that. I hope that for everybody. If this is your first time to the show, welcome to the show. I do these once a week. I speak to cool people about what they're doing and why they're doing it, and I appreciate you coming and checking it out. I do have sponsors, and they are very good people who help me get the show out to you, so if you just give me 5 minutes of your time, if that, I can bang these out. If you're into what they're doing, you can buy it. Even if you just follow them on Instagram or like their Facebook page, that is something. It means a lot to me and to them. So I have some pet treats. I have some beer. I have some hot sauce. I have some car salesman. I have some silk screening. I have everything that you guys need. So here, let me just bang these out. First up is Brewed Biscuits, all natural spent grain pet treats. They're called spent grains because basically what these people do is they upcycle the spent grains, which are the oats and barley that have been steeped in hot water to remove the sugars, which is the wort that brewers use, and they've turned them into pet treats. They don't have any alcohol, they don't have any hops or sugars or salts or additives or preservatives. They're super, super natural. All natural, and your dog will love them. My dog loves them. They're not expensive. You can order them online. Go to twospentgrains.ca, browse, see what they have, and buy a bag for your dog. They're really fucking good. They really are, and the owners are super sweet people. So find them on Instagram, follow them, get some pet treats for your dog. If you love them, you'll get them. If you don't, get these treats, it means you don't love your pet. No, get these pet treats. They're delicious. Okay, heartbeathotsauce.com is the next one. If you're into hot sauce and you haven't heard of this company, get on board. Heartbeathotsauce.com. You can find out information there. They were on season 6 of Hot Ones, which is huge. If you don't know what Hot Ones is, just YouTube it and you'll see. And they're what can I say? It's delicious. It's the best hot sauce I've ever had. There's no water added. There's no thickening agents or chemical preservatives of any kind. It makes the sauce as natural as it can get. It's fermented using traditional methods before being cooked with a few simple, high-quality ingredients. It's delicious, man. It really is. They collaborated with Cancer Bats on their last record. They're teamed up with Heatonist for their newest Piri sauce. It's just really good hot sauce. So go buy it. I have a few bottles on me if you want to hit me up. But if not, just get hip, really. If you like hot sauce, you'll love Heartbeat Hot Sauce. Kevin Rigo of Hefner Toyota, is the next one. Kevin's a good old friend of mine, and he's a car salesman. And if you need someone to help make the process easy, or anyone in your circle who's looking to buy from Hefner Toyota out at 3121 King Street East, go find Rigo. Talk to him. He'll make the process great and easy, I promise. And he's just the raddest fucking dude. I love Rigo to death, and you can love him too. Go find him. Find him in Kitchener, Hefner Toyota. Ironclad Graphics is a silk screening company in Kingston. They ship coast to coast. They're competitive with their pricing. I use them for Gruber. I use them for the podcast shirts. They did my patches, my pins. They do stickers. They do everything. They've been doing it for a long time. So if you're looking for someone, just get a quote from them. Ironcladgraphics.com. You'd probably be surprised at how affordable and how great they are. And lastly, we have wellingtonbrewery.ca. They're Canada's oldest independently owned microbrewery, and they make delicious beers. I'm sipping on a Hell's Lager, as I usually do. You can find them in your local LCBO and buy it, try it. Okay, so those are the sponsors. Again, follow them on Instagram, like them on Facebook. So this episode is with Kyle Wappler. Kyle was a guest previously, and Hopefest is coming up in in September. So it was kind of good timing to talk about that. And Kyle's a staple in the KW scene. He's been promoting shows for like 10 years. Heart of Gold, he does it for the right reasons, and it was fun to sit down and talk to him about this upcoming fest and his thought process, and just picked his brain, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Hopefully this is a great way to start your Monday. Cheers and enjoy. This is episode 281 with Kyle. Well, fuck, man. Yeah, let's jump right into it, man. We got Hopefest coming up. The second iteration, right? Last year was the first Hopefest?
Yep.
Yeah,
yep.
okay.
Got the second year coming up this year. Last year was awesome. It was hugely supported, so it was kind of a must-do again sort of thing. So went a little bit bigger this year and trying to grow it. And
how do you feel? Are you nervous, excited, everything? Calm?
A little bit of everything. Little bit of everything. So I mean, I'm used to running shows here, so I'm kind of have an idea of how things generally work in the city as far as everything goes. And having done it last year, it was easy to take the sort of algorithm and move it over and apply it to this year. So the set times are already set up, and it's just a matter of plugging the bands into each spot. And we kind of had a game plan with Maxwell's and stuff already instated. So I was able to take that for the most part and do it again while being like, okay, I didn't like this and I didn't like that last year. Let's fine tune those little details that, slipped by last year and make that better.
What were some of those things? Like, I was going to ask about the experience and what you learned from that.
Just honestly, is minor things that people outside of the behind the scenes wouldn't really acknowledge. Things like, the in and outs through the back. We didn't have them guarded as much because there was so many bands and it was hard to keep track of. So we've kind of fine tuned how the in and outs work and how the gear moving works. And so it's a little bit easier to keep tabs on all of that kind of stuff. And then just like very, very minor things like, I changed up how to get the word out on this year. I'm trying a few different things just to see, fill those few empty spaces that there was last year and go, all right, let's pack this and see how far we can go with it.
Sure. Yeah. Of course, I think you would learn stuff like it's, I think to run a fest properly, there's so many fests that are shit shows.
Yeah.
Do you have like how many staff would you say you have? Isn't it just that one venue?
This year we've added a second venue with Night School, which is it's rebranding and changing names, but that's all still happening. So we'll be helping them launch the new name when that all comes out. But between my volunteers, I really don't have that many people on staff. It's about 10 people that help me run the shows for both events, and then obviously the bar staff and security, and Paul Maxwell over at Maxwell's and Devin over at Night School kind of help things run smoothly and stuff as well. And they're good people to be able to rely on, and they've done a ton of events, and everything at Maxwell's is kind of fine-tuned as it is. So it's just a matter of going, how can we take this from 4 bands and apply it to 21 plus an outdoor acoustic stage, right?
So are you doing it where you do have it like 2 stages in Maxwell's? Is that what you did
last
time?
Yep. We did that last year too. We're using both stages, and then where the smoke pit normally is, we've also set up an acoustic tent out there. Cool. So it's constant music back and forth with the overlap of the acoustic stage outside. So no matter where you are in the space, there's always music and always something to check out.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
And with the duality of that and kind of keeping it simple with the 2 stages is nice too, because you're not constantly running from one space to the next, deciding who you're going to go see. You just have to stand in one spot and you see everybody.
Yeah. So that'll be at Maxwell's, but then at Night School, is it just going to be the one stage there? Or are you doing?
It's just the one stage. Yeah. And it's all hip hop and EDM over there. So having one stage is super easy for changeovers. It's like super seamless because it's a DJ and a rapper. And we have one DJ that spins all the tracks for the hip hop acts. So we have DJ Flemmo. And we do a lot of stuff together. He also runs eardrum events, and
awesome.
He's a good dude. Yeah, so we have him running point on that kind of thing and helping out. And making sure everything runs smooth.
I think that's you have to put a lot of trust because you can't be in every spot at once. So you're definitely having to put trust in these people to do their jobs too. Did you find last year everything ran on time or not?
Yeah, I think after with 21 bands, I think we ran 5 minutes over the scheduled time. So like that was huge kudos to everybody that was involved with that, because that's absolutely amazing.
That is crazy.
To maintain like that.
Did you have to cut people off? Because like some people, any show, I feel like just don't get it. They play over their set, and it's like, what the fuck? I told you had 20 minutes or whatever. Did you find that?
We didn't have to do any of that with the show. It was, everyone had their set so fine tuned and ready to go that it was super simple. And like, every once in a while it was like a reminder, like, hey, coming up 5-minute checkpoint kind of thing. And it's like, oh, we have one song left.
Perfect.
Like, oh, all right, cool.
Awesome.
And everything was great. So, yeah, everyone helped with that, and we've got a great group of artists this year again, so I don't foresee that being an issue either.
That's awesome, man. I think that helps too for people who are coming in to see a band. If you have a certain set time, then because not everyone's going to want to see every single band, so that helps.
Absolutely, like that's I think really important with that many bands. People want to come see this, and we have with the VIP tickets, and there's venue hopper tickets where you can jump from both shows. So if anything were to run off time, it would really screw people up from getting from one space to the next scheduling. So that's one thing I keep very, very, it's like the task to be on schedule, on time. I've got 2 guys up front by each stage, making sure that gear's moved on and off and everything's smooth and fluid like that.
Word. I was going to ask about so in curating the list, like it's, did you really make an effort to make majority of the bands local, or like kind of like what was your decision making and who was playing and where they're from?
Yeah, I've always wanted, my main focus has always been on the Ontario music scene and building the Ontario music community as a whole. So as you'll see on it, most of the bands are Ontario-based bands, with the exception we have Eternal Sleep and 68 coming up from the States. But I predominantly focus on local bands and developing acts of bands that are starting to tour and giving them a platform with bigger artists to play. So a lot of it comes through submissions. We had over 200 submissions this year.
Wow.
For Hopefest. So I kind of go through and narrow down lists based on, who I've worked with before, who I've heard, who I see buzz generating about. And I also have some friends that I can rely on and are knowledgeable about the music community too, that I can pass some of it off to and be like, give me your suggestions, kind of, who would you put on here? And I can kind of compare, and I make sure that, it's not just my bias looking at it. There's a lot of people kind of viewing it and making a decision, so I can make it a coherent festival, but as diverse as possible as well.
Cool. Yeah, that's kind of smart. Like, you would have all the right to pick the bands, like you're kind of spearheading it, but yeah, it changes the flavor to have another few heads in.
Yeah, absolutely. And like anything else, it makes it more interesting, right? This festival, it's all alternative music, but we can go from, something really poppy like Courage My Love's new single Teenagers to something like A Sight for Stone Eyes or Eternal Sleep or Auras, which is super, super heavy. And it's all within the same vein and all kind of makes sense being together, but at the same time is eclectic and diverse, and it'll grab the attention of more people and will give more people the opportunity to expose themselves to an artist that they may have never checked out before because somebody of a different scene or genre is on that bill.
So you would kind of mix it up where it would be like maybe something kind of heavy in the next band. It's not like blocks, like this is the emo part, this is the heavy part. Do you mix it up more?
Yeah, I like to mix it up, but I also like it to flow. So like it wouldn't be like a super, super drastic jump from one thing to the next, but it would be, everything is so different and diverse on this festival that you're likely not going to hear the same sound repeated more than, 1 or 2 times in a row. It'll be back and forth, especially with the 2 different stages happening as well.
Are you I gotta write this down before I forget. Are you going to do vendors again? And how was that last year? Was that a good idea or a bad idea? Or
Yeah, we're definitely bringing vendors back. A lot of people really enjoyed it. And it just adds something to the festival as well. And, again, it's all within the vein of local arts and local communities. So it gives a chance for local vendors to get exposure to something that's a little bit different and a little bit more diverse for them as well, and grow their audience and showcase their work.
yeah, I think it's a cool little branch off of it, because those sort of flea market type vendor type things are rad, but this is literally like combining both. Like, it's a show and that. And I guess it could have gone either way, where like it would have been a failure. Maybe no one wanted to check it out, or there's bodies there and people. I did it last year for people listening, and it was rad to have that mingle and to have that exposure. There was tons of people.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And it's it gets eyes that maybe wouldn't otherwise see it, because again, it's such a diverse thing. You might have a vendor that generally sells to punks, or you might have a vendor that is more artistic and out there, and like tie dye, or beads and necklaces and stuff, and it brings different eyes, and it brings something to the people too. It gives them more, and every once in a while you want to walk around and go scope things out, and it gives people something to look at and do while they're there for a full day too.
Yeah. I remember getting some popcorn off some guy. I'm like, oh, this is great. There's like music and delicious popcorn.
Yeah, exactly.
Now I was gonna ask about the
bring a popcorn cart again.
Yeah, are you doing you're doing a battle of the bands, right? Or no?
Yeah, we actually just finished up. One round at Harmony Lunch a few weeks ago, and Illicit ended up winning that one.
Now, how many rounds were there, and kind of how do you choose that? Because I always find a battle of the bands, like, there's clear cut, like, this band is not a very rehearsed well band, and then there's like a good band. So, like, explain, I guess, kind of like how you would pick and what your thinking was to have battle of the bands.
Yeah, so we had 6 bands out on the bill. It was just a single date. We didn't do multiple rounds. Again, it was a submission-based thing. There was a couple bands from KW, band from Windsor, Barrie, kind of all over. And it was kind of one of those things where submissions, I listened to the submissions, kind of picked the 6 bands that were going to compete for the spot. And then we had a group of judges that were all promoters and involved with the local community and stuff. And they all rated the bands on a scale of 1 to 10 based on their performance and what they thought of them. And we went from that. So I kind of picked bands to compete. And then from then I was like, all right, this is up to a judging panel. And that's how most fair we could do. We even did, we drew numbers at the beginning of the event to determine people's set times and stuff like that. Like we wanted to make sure it's as fair as possible for everybody to compete in. So rather than, base it on like ticket sales or something ridiculous like that, it was like, okay, we're having a judges panel. Everyone's from different parts of the scene, and that's how it's going to be decided.
Yeah, that's cool, man. And it's I think it helps too to build hype. Like, it's another thing surrounding it, right? Like,
absolutely, and it creates buzz through the local community too. That like, hey, like there's a chance for these local bands that are just developing and just starting out to play this massive festival with a band like Fucked Up that's a Polaris Prize winner.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. What kind of, did you hire like a PR guy for this, or you're just all doing it kind of in-house, I guess I should say?
Yeah, it's all just me. It's all like, I mean, everything I do is DIY, right? So like everything that I'm putting out is kind of out of my own pocket, out of my own love for doing it. And everything that I can put into it, I do myself. So I don't have the massive budgets to hire PR companies to seek out media guys and put the word out there for me. I got to go out and hang up the posters and go to local shows and go to local festivals and hand out flyers face to face and tell people. I'm on Facebook posting 3 times a day about it and through different ways, different types of media, constantly thinking about how I can create something new. I've, taught myself how to edit videos loosely enough that I can put out a different type of media for people to consume instead of just having the same old, like, here's an event link, go click on the event link kind of thing. And it's fun.
Do you use Twitter much?
I do. I have it directly tied to my Instagram and Facebook. Okay. So most of my interaction with it comes through there, but sometimes I do directly use that in order to directly target different things where I can tag people and get it in different media groups, faces, etc. I
feel like, well, I just personally, I have one, but both for the band and both for the podcast, and it's like a tool that I don't feel like people are engaging with Twitter.
Yeah,
like
it's
they
different.
Engage with Instagram. Well, I guess maybe I see a like versus, I think you can like on Twitter, but Twitter's always perplexed me.
Yeah, it's different. It's for me, it's something, if I know I can generate traction through like rich media and stuff, putting out a video that and tagging bands and artists in it where it's going to be retweeted and put out. Regardless of the amount of interaction on it, I know that it's getting eyes on it from people scrolling through it. So it's got its uses, but the metrics on it aren't as good as what something like a Facebook would, where it's much more tangible. You can see people being like, hey, that's great, or hey, you suck.
Yeah. Where do you find, at least let's say Facebook, like, do you know like an optimal time to post? And even with Instagram?
It all kind of depends. I tracked it for a while on my own, just to see like what times were hitting the most reach and stuff like that. But it fluctuates based on day, and so there's no real way of determining it. So I try to diversify posts multiple times a day to make sure that I'm getting as much. So I'll do something where, maybe it's a photo of one of the artists or something early in the morning, and then here's a track to listen to, when you're driving home, and then here's another track like later in the night when people are just chilling, or here's a video to check out or something like that. And just put out as much content as possible, but all while making sure it's diverse and it's not the same thing being plugged over and over, or else people lose interest in it. Scroll past.
I feel like there is a line that you don't want to cross. You want to be persistent but not annoying, right? Because that'll really turn people off.
Exactly. And it's you got to get the word out there, but at the same time, when it's coming through like your personal pages and stuff like that, you got to kind of mitigate it a little bit.
Yeah, totally. Do you have people, because you're doing everything yourself, DIY, have you had like media people approach you? Because I feel like at this point you're kind of known in the KW scene.
Yeah, definitely. I get a lot of people that shoot for different blogs or different publications and stuff. They'll hit me up for media passes and stuff for the events and want to come out and shoot the shows so that they can add them into their things. Things like pre-event promotion is a little bit different, because especially when it's coming through a larger publication or media thing, like they have advertising and stuff, so they sometimes often get it as like, oh, that's like a freebie when we could be charging you for like advertising right now, kind of thing.
Interesting.
And
for sure.
So in that sort of sense, it's iffy as to what they're able to do. But I mean, it's not uncommon for people to help me out. Like Explain Magazine did a great article the second that we released our lineup. They put out a great thing just letting everyone know, hey, like there's a festival that's happening, and that was really awesome of them.
So was it like an article or just an ad?
It was like an article. It was kind of like a press release that they put out, just saying like, "Hey, look, this festival just got announced. Fucked Up's playing along with Exalt and all these other cool bands." And
Cool.
so that was really great. And that kind of thing happens every once in a while, or you'll get listed in like small papers, like event listings and things, and that goes such a long way. Or even small podcasts like
Yeah,
this that get the opportunity to come on, and it goes a long way. You know,
Wow.
if I can even get one person interested in what's going on.
For real, man. For real. Like it's just reaching as many people as you can through whatever means. Like it's a real sort of hustle.
Exactly.
I was gonna ask about Fucked Up because I saw a post about the poster and someone tore it down and like
Yeah,
so was it just one or was it a bunch and
about 50.
oh
Yeah, so the about 50 of them got fully removed, and then the ones that were left up, they were ripping the word "fuck" out of the poster, and it was And then on top of that, the new Facebook censorships
shit.
won't let you advertise anything. So I can post the poster on it and do all that, but I can't put money into an advertisement to push it out any further.
Oh,
So it only reaches my organic reach, and it's very hard. So I'm relying a lot on people to share it and push it and find other means of getting it out there and putting banner ads on different websites and just trying to get eyes out there.
was that? I guess that was came out of left field. You didn't like the poster thing. I can kind of see, but the Facebook thing is kind of odd.
Yeah, especially considering some of the content that's up on Facebook, you would think that saying "fuck" would be a fairly minor issue.
I wonder, like, even when we were kids, like, ass, or even I feel like I hear shit on the radio or on TV, and it used to be, like, censored. Like, at what point is fuck gonna be okay?
Yeah, I mean, at some point, people gotta just accept that words are words.
I know, just the sound.
It's a language. It's a sound. It's no different than any other word.
I got a buddy of mine. He plays in this band called Fuck the Facts, and they were putting posters up a long time ago, and some dude kept taking them down. I might have told you this story actually.
No, I don't know.
So I think there was a newspaper article with this angry guy holding the poster. You know what I mean? Like, this is a problem. They're making it messy. And so they used that photo from the newspaper for the next flyer that they were putting up of the angry guy.
That's amazing. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I wish I could find a picture of an angry person removing my posters that I could use to make another poster. That would be the next year's Hopefest poster right there.
I wonder, man, like well, whatever. I'm not surprised, but it's kind of insane, like to take the time to take down a poster or to like meticulously take out fuck. Like, okay.
Yeah, I know it's wild, and it's especially for who they are. Like, it's obviously somebody that can't look beyond like a quick word on a poster to see who it actually is, because Fucked Up is one of the favorite bands of the Canadian Broadcasting Centre, and they won a Polaris Prize in 2009, and they're nominated for another Polaris Prize in 2019, which is basically the highest honor a band or an artist can earn in Canada. And so to have somebody come around and take that down, like, and Fucked Up can't even advertise from their page. So it's a thing, like, they're really hindering the ability to get the word out about something over something so trivial. And it's a real battle.
Was it like getting Fucked Up, was it something you were aiming for? Was there someone else you couldn't get, or was it like something?
No, Fucked Up was definitely on the top of my list from the start. They were one of the first bands that I messaged to be like, hey, are you available? Is this possible? Can we make this work? And thankfully, we were able to make it work and get them out here, because I don't think they've ever played in Kitchener, and
wow,
it's something that I've wanted in here for a long time. Like,
how long? How much leeway did you have to give them? Like, when did you email them?
It didn't take too long. I reached out to their agent, and they were playing Hillside Festival, so they had to, that's why we weren't able to announce till later and stuff, make sure that everything was okay there.
Mhm.
And they just double checked that there was nothing interfering through everything else, and submitted an offer through, and they accepted it and made it happen.
So that's how it works. Like you hit them up, and then like, here's what I'm offering, and they just accept or reject.
Yep. A lot of this time, I mean, there's a lot more back and forth than that. It's not as simple as like, here's a monetary offer. It's going through and making sure that everything's taken care of as far as backlines and making sure gear and the sound requirements are met, and lighting and all the other fun stuff. Some are much crazier than other ones, and but so kind of get that and go, this is what we have available for these sorts of things, and make sure that's all together, and then you go, here's how much we're able to offer, and if that's acceptable, then and the band's available, then usually it goes through.
That's cool, man. That's like, well, I even feel like it's the Center in the Square has, like, I think fucking I Hate God and Corrosion of Conformity were just there.
Corrosion of Conformity was for sure.
Did you have a hand in that or no?
No, that wasn't me. The Center in the Square is run by the city.
Okay.
So yeah, they handle all of that stuff internally for the most part.
It's fucking like Bill Burr was there. Like, it's like, how are these people coming to Kitchener? What the fuck?
Yeah, they've been doing nuts. They had Black Label Society, Zach Wild, and
so crazy.
It's all kinds of crazy stuff.
Just quickly to bounce off, like, did you do that other Queensryche? How do you say it? Did you do that show?
Yeah, so I didn't do it directly. I was working on a promotional standpoint for them, and coordinating local talent and helping them bring in like the local community kind of to the show. That was pretty cool, being able to work with Skid Row and Queensryche and stuff.
That's nuts, man. That happened.
Yeah. What's that? Sorry?
That's already happened?
Yeah, that was about a month ago.
Okay. Crazy.
Yeah.
Do those guys have crazy writers, or do you know?
I didn't deal with any of that stuff, so I don't know. I imagine they were pretty fun though.
Yeah. Holy fuck, man. Crazy. Yeah. I was gonna ask about. I just have some questions here. So like, things right now seem kind of good in the Kitchener Waterloo scene, and like, do you think 5 years ahead, and do you see it being as stable as it is now, or like, I don't know, do you think about the future in the scene a lot, or not really?
I do. It's really hard, especially with alternative music. It kind of comes and goes in waves, with like punk and hardcore, and with the age group of a lot of music in the alternative scene, you kind of have to plan 3 and 4 years out. Like, you always have to be looking for the younger new bands that are coming out, and kind of keeping an eye on what's happening with that sort of stuff, because being a university town, there's no guarantee that after 3 or 4 years half your audience might be gone, because you have a lot of university students that come that don't necessarily live here, and you notice it in the summer too, when those people are gone. And so it's kind of always like keeping an eye out and just seeing for new bands, because there's always like community that goes with them, right? And there's always something new budding and coming out. So as long as you're keeping busy and looking and making sure that you're on, kind of on the ball with what's coming out new, it's usually not too much of a concern, but it is something that constantly changes and adapts. So you got to keep up.
Do you, man, it's a real dedication to show up and all the stuff you do in the end. I feel like even for a promoter, like, you don't get the best part of the deal. Like, for me, I get to play, and you played music too. So how much longer? I guess as long as it's still fun, I guess. I mean, I've been playing music and going to shows, and as long as I can really remember, I don't think I can
really picture a show or picture a life without going to a concert and stuff. I mean, as long as people want to come out, I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah. Well, it feels really good right now, man. Like the 420 Fest and last year's Hopefest and just all this stuff that's happening. It's alive and well. It's really fucking dope, man.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I mean, I feel like it's been a long time coming. Like when you look at it, the Tri-Cities has a bigger population than London. So, we're wedged in between these two music meccas, and it's only a matter of time before we become a viable tour solution on a off routing or an underplay.
Yeah.
It's always going to go to London and Toronto because those are the big plays, but we're becoming a viable secondary option. If somebody comes through and does the London and Toronto circuit, maybe next time they come through and do KW Hamilton, and kind of switch it up and hit different crowds that way. And now we're kind of becoming a stop on those tours, which is nice. It's not always going out and speaking. It's you get offers for people to come through and stuff now.
That's fucking awesome.
They grow.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that's a lot of the work you put in. How many years now have you been doing shows now?
A little over a decade.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And that's excluding, like, I started flyering for Andy Schock, who actually started Have Hope. I started flyering for him when I was about 16 years old. And then I started a New Era Productions in 2008 when I was 18. And I'd done a couple shows by myself at that point already. And then a couple of years later, I was with Andy doing Have Hope. Not even a couple of years, like a year later.
That's like that's longer than like some bands are together. Like what do you
I think it's longer than most bands are together.
Yeah. Like how do you think you've been able to do it for this long?
By not taking myself too seriously, I think. I think being realistic about what you want out of it and being realistic about your expectations going into things, and understanding kind of how everything works, and having played music and in bands, you're not going into it to make rich, right? And I feel like a lot of people that get into music, whether it's from a production side or a promotion side or a band side, whatever, a lot of people think they're just going to come in, make this record, and it's going to blow up, and they're going to be the next Bieber. And when it doesn't happen after a year, they're on to the next thing. And that's never been my perspective on it. It's always been, I just want to do a sick show, because I don't know where I would have been if I didn't have that in high school, and I didn't have that in life, right? So I want to create that avenue and make sure that still exists for other people and other kids out there that don't fit in the status quo and want to find something different that's, they feel like they can belong and be a part of something more than just a, regular old life.
Do you feel kind of like with that attitude, do you ever get rubbed the wrong way, like being taken advantage of? Because someone like you, to do it as long as you have and to be honest about it is rare, I think. Yeah.
No, I mean, I've never felt like I'm being taken advantage of. I mean, sometimes you win one, sometimes you lose one. It all kind of balances out. It's always just been about the music and been about creating and sustaining this subculture that, has been a home to me for so long. And that's, like I said, as long as as I'm able to do that. I mean, that's not saying there hasn't been times where I'm like, let's screw this. Like you put out, a ton of work, and you do a show and 8 people show up, and you're like, oh, sick. Yeah. There's little things like that, or like, I've had people like complain about a price of tickets when it's like a $10 or $20 ticket, and I'm just like, man, I lost like $400 on that show. It's like, I trade you ticket prices, but that's all like little tiny things, and those things are few and far between in the grand scheme of things. It is what it is, and I just love doing it. So as long as that one's still there, and
yeah, well,
that's all I know.
it's everyone in the scene is really benefiting from it. I feel like it creates excitement. You know what I mean? It creates things bigger than just the shitty dive bar show. Like, there's a pride in being from this area when a show like Hopefest happens.
Yeah, and there's something bigger happening, and that's drawing buzz, and people are coming from all over for it. It's like, hey, yeah, that's like my hometown festival. That's something that I go to every year. It was like Koi Music Festival was for us, and that was just something. It was like, oh, it's September, it's koi season. Like, it's just something we do, and I'd love to kind of be a staple like that for KW, that they know that this is just going to happen and they look forward to it.
That's awesome. So from last year's to this year's, it was the one venue. So you added the second venue, more bands this year. Like, what's different from last year to this year? Like,
the biggest thing is the jump in headliner and the size of the acts playing. I put out a bit more in terms of bringing in big bands this year. Last year we had Single Mothers headline, which is great, but this year we've got Fucked Up, which is, these guys are legends in the Canadian alternative and punk communities and stuff. So there's a big jump in that. I'm going to be beefing up the sound a little bit out on the acoustic stage, fine tuning, that sort of thing. I'm going to try to up the production a little bit. I'm going to bring in a little bit of extra lighting and stuff for the side stage. So that looks great. And Maxwell's has upgraded their lighting system in there since the last festival. So now that we've got the rotating heads and moving heads, which just adds a little bit to the stage performance and gives people some visual experience along with the sonic one.
Yeah, well, I think it's super admirable to, or I don't know if admirable is the right word, but you want to make it bigger and better. But you don't want to fail with new cogs in the machine. It could fail, but I think you're dealing with professionals, people who know what they're doing. It's not a first time through thing.
Yeah, and it's kind of just an amalgamation of everything else I do and what everyone else that I work with does already. So it's just kind of taking all of our knowledge and applying it to one event simultaneously, and it just kind of works. Everything's really smooth. And I think having it contained within a space like Maxwell's makes that so much easier too.
Totally.
They do 100 shows a year. I do 100 shows a year or whatever. And we get together and it's like, okay, this is how it works within our room. And I go, okay, this is how it works with my scene. Okay, let's put those together. How are we going to make everything work from a promotional standpoint, from, how everything's going to work day of the festival, who's going to be where, security, etc., and all of those kind of things. So it all just kind of comes together and works.
Yeah. We didn't talk about the details of all this. When is it? What are, just shoot off all the info.
Yeah, it's September 21st at Maxwell's, and then we have the house party. The Hopefest house party is happening simultaneously on the 21st at Night School. Both of them start at 3 p.m. show time. Doors will open at 2:30 p.m. And the Hopefest festival at Maxwell's will be over at around 11, and Night School will be continuing on until 2 a.m. It's kind of like a built-in after party with one of the resident DJs there. And then we've got an after party at Harmony Lunch as well. And that starts right after the festival at Maxwell's. And it's the return of an event that we used to do called Tell All Your Friends at District Nightclub. And it's happening at Harmony Lunch. And we've got Brandon Lockwood from Courage My Love is going to be DJing at that. It's like our version of the emo night. So it's all emo, and pop punk and hardcore. Songs that people will be able to sing along with.
That's cool, man. And tickets. So it's the one day, right? That 21st. And yeah, there's VIP tickets you were saying, and
so you can get general admission tickets are $40 for the day. If you're looking at going to both venues, you can get a venue hopper pass, and that's $50. That includes both of your tickets. Or you can get a VIP package, which includes that plus tickets to the after party, tickets to all 3 of the pre-parties. It also has a T-shirt, a cassette from 3 Nines, which is a compilation of all the artists that are playing the festival. It comes with a download code as well, and sticker packages, posters, all types of other goodies in that as well. And yeah, so you can pick those up on Ticket Scene, or if you're looking for just a general admission and you want a physical ticket, you can go pick those up at Encore Records or Orange Monkey Records in Waterloo.
Cool. Man, it's awesome, man. Are you doing any like contests or anything like that?
Actually, yeah, there's currently a contest happening with Exclaim magazine that's running on exclaim.ca. Sorry. Look.
It's okay, man. Doggos.
Hey. Yeah. There's currently a contest happening on exclaim.ca right now. You can win a pair of tickets if you head over to their website and check that out. And then we usually do one as well, and occasionally do some with bands.
Cool.
To do things. So there might be one coming out later for a new CD that might be being released by one of the artists.
Okay.
So
cool, man. Listen, like I think that's everything I really wanted to ask, because people who don't know, we did an episode prior where we kind of went into like the history and other questions that I would have asked.
Yeah.
But, you seem, ready to do this. You're obviously a pro at doing this. I don't know. Do you have any other like thoughts on the fest? Like, those were all the questions I really had. I don't know.
Just letting people know that all of these bands that are on here are fantastic. A lot of them might even be from the city that you're from. If you haven't checked out the bands on it, be sure to check them out, because all of them are fantastic, and I can almost guarantee that you'll find somebody that's going to really resonate with you. We have everything from, pop to hardcore and prog metal to shoegaze and punk rock. So there's a little bit of everything for people, and definitely be sure to check out the artists that are on it first and foremost and give them a listen.
Totally. And how do people find all this info? Hopefest, is there a homepage or is it a Facebook page? Or?
It's through our Facebook. You can go to facebook.com/thisishavehope, or to our Instagram or Twitter at thisishavehope. And we have all that information up there. If you hit the events tab on our Facebook, the official events page is up there. Hit the going button so you get our notifications, and can check out all the music and stuff that we're posting from all the artists.
Sick. Well, actually, one more question here, and it's the name Have Hope. Like have hope, just things are going to be okay, or like where did that come from?
It's like a multiple meaning thing. When we first created it, it was kind of in the hype of like the positive mentality hardcore resurgence that was going on, and it was like hope for ourselves, hope for our community, hope for our scene, and hope that we can sustain something. It meant something to us as much as it was supposed to mean something to everybody else.
Word. Man, well, 10 plus years in, or however long you guys have been doing it, you're doing something right, man.
We still have hope.
Yeah, secretly, yeah. I have hope this will pay for my mortgage. Hey,
No.
that'd be sick. I'll I'd have zero fucking hate for that. Someone who puts in work and does it for the right reasons, that'd be a nice little reward. But whatever, I'm sure you're gonna keep doing it no matter whatever happens.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would love to eventually one day have my own space where I could do shows and have that be my job, but solely promoting, probably not.
Yeah.
Combining a few of the aspects of the music community, maybe one day.
Yeah. Well, listen, people listening, make sure you check out this stuff and get your tickets, and all the description and shit will be in the bio. And that's really it, man. Yeah, Kyle, thanks, man. It's I'm super stoked for it. Happy to help push it on. I don't know.
I really appreciate it, bro.
Man, no, anytime, man, anytime. I'm sure I'll see you around at some show, and I'll give you a hug.
Hell yeah, man. I'll buy you a beer.
Thanks. I'll give you a hug. Thanks for doing what you're doing. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for doing what you're doing, man. Hey. Without people like you doing that, my job would be 10 times harder.
Yeah. Well, I think we're cut from the same cloth, that this shit's really rad and important, and we want to see it continue on. That's really it.
Oh yeah, man.
Awesome.
Art all comes from the same place, right?
For real, man. All right, Kyle, thanks for coming on, man. I'm going to close this off, and yeah, I'll tag you in this post next week, man.
Amazing. Thanks so much, dude. Have a great night, eh?
You too, buddy.
All right, take care.
All right, peace, man.
Peace.
All right, cool. Yeah, if you're in the area or not in the area, go check out the show. Last year, I was part of it as a vendor and organized. Kyle knows what he's doing. He totally does. He had a hand in the 420 Fest that Grubert and Miners did earlier this year, and legit as fuck. Kyle's super legit. So let me bang out these sponsors here while I'm recording. I might as well. Just a note, I have the Instagram page. It's Takerwide Podcast. The homepage is takerwide.com. All my old episodes are there, over 280 that you can go through, and I've spoken to many people that you probably know. I'm sure someone you know has been on the show. But yeah, dig back on those episodes. I have shirts, I have merch. If you guys want, just go to takerwide.com, click on the merch, and you can see what I got available. So let me bang out these sponsors. Brewed Biscuits, all natural spent grain pet treats. Go to 2spentgrains.ca. Scope out the peanut butter, the pumpkin sweet potato, the apple cinnamon. Ocho loves them, which is my dog, if you don't know that. They're really affordable, and they're a really great product, so support them. Find them on Instagram. heartbeathotsauce.com for your delicious hot sauce. You have the red habanero, you have the blueberry habanero, you have the jalapeno, you have the pineapple, you have the piri piri or piri piri, I don't know how to say it. Killing the game. Kevin Rigo of Hefner Toyota, 3121 King Street East in Kitchener, Ontario. Go buy a car from him. That'd be sick. IroncladGraphics.com for your silk screening needs. And what else? WellingtonBrewery.ca for the beers. I had a Hell's Lager. I have a shit ton of them, so it's delicious. Make sure you subscribe to the show. Make sure that I have the YouTube channel. Just subscribe to that. What else can I say? Nothing except thank you guys for listening as always. Eternal blessings to you, and I'll see you next week, okay? Adios.